Hello students, I am Seetu Jaiswal from Government Inter College, Chamrauli, Unnao. I welcome you in this class of English. Students, today we are going to read a poem from your English book Beehive. The name of this poem is Wind, which is composed by Subramania Bharati in Tamil. A.K. Ramanujan has translated this poem into English. Students, in today's class, you will know about the poet of this poem. You will be able to appreciate the poem. You will be able to understand the thought and imagination contained in the poem. We will appreciate the rhyme and style of the poem, and this class will help you to develop your aesthetic sense. Students, let's know about the poet of this poem. Chinnaswamy Subramania Bharati was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, Indian independence activist, social reformer and a polyglot. Polyglot means a person who knows and is able to use several languages. Popularly known as Mahakavi Bharati, great poet Bharati, he was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and is considered one of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time. Students, because Subramania Bharati was an activist, the main themes in his poetry were patriotism and nationalism. Students, as the name suggests, this poem is about wind. We love and enjoy breezy weather when the wind blows softly. But what happens when the wind becomes loud and strong, when it becomes violent and destructive? In this poem, Wind, the poet has focused on the violent aspect of the wind that causes heavy destruction. He has linked the destructive power of wind to the adversities of life and says that the weak people break down, but stronger people come out of adversities stronger. He therefore suggests the reader be strong both physically and mentally. Students, now I will read the poem Wind. You also read along with me. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So, come, let's build strong homes. Let's joint the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Students, now I will analyze this poem line by line. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. The poet says that wind is strong and loud. So he asks the wind to be little soft and subtle. He asks the wind to come softly and requests the wind not to break the shutters of the windows, not to scatter the papers, not to throw down the books on the shelf. Students, here are the meanings of the difficult words. Shutters means a wooden or metal cover that is fixed outside a window. Scatter means to drop or throw things loosely. Students, Here are the comprehensive questions. To whom is the poet asking to come softly? The poet is asking the wind to come softly. What does the poet request the wind not to do? The poet requests the wind not to break the protective panels of the windows, not to scatter the papers, and not to throw down the books which are kept on the shelf. Students, see the next lines. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Here, tore means pulled apart. Poking fun means making fun or laughing at. Weaklings means weak person or things. Students, the poet says that wind does not listen to him. As it is a natural phenomena, it does not listen to anybody. It turns violent and destructive, and it has created all the destruction. The poet says to the wind to look at the destruction it has done. It has thrown all the things down. It has torn the pages of the books. The poet accuses wind of bringing rain again. In the last line here, you're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. The poet says that the wind makes fun of weak person and things, which means it destroys only weak person and things, but it doesn't do any harm to strong person and things. So the poet calls the wind clever. Write about any two destructive activities of the wind. Two destructive activities of the wind are: it has pulled apart the pages of the books. It has brought heavy rain. Students, see the next line. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Students, here frail means weak or feeble. Winnow means to remove chaff from the grain. Crumbling means falling apart into small fragments. Students, here you see that in the first 4 lines, the poet has repeated the word crumbling many times to lay stress that the wind crushes everything, everything that is weak. It crushes weak houses, it crushes weak doors, it crushes rafters, which means beam on which the roof of the buildings are supported. It crushes wooden things. It crushes not only the non-living things but also the living things. It crushes human bodies. It crushes human lives, and it crushes human hearts too. See the last line here. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Students, winnowing is a process in which the chaff is removed from the grain. As you are seeing in this picture, these people are winnowing, means they are removing chaff or husk from the grain. Similarly, the wind also does the winnowing process, and through this process he separates weak person and things from the stronger ones. He sifts all the people, and those who are weak get crushed and fall down. Students, why are the houses, doors, rafters, etc. crumbling? The houses, doors, rafters, etc. are crumbling because these are weak. What does the wind god do? The wind god winnows and separates weak people and things from the stronger ones. Students, see the next line. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Here, Firm means strong. Steadfast means fixed and steady. Students, these are very meaningful lines. In the previous lines, the poet has addressed wind, but now in these lines, the poet addresses the readers. He says that the wind will not listen to us. The problems will not listen to us. So what should we do? We should prepare ourselves. We should make ourselves strong so that we can face the hardships and challenges of our life. And in this preparation, we should make strong homes. We should keep the doors shut. And we should strengthen our body and mind. The poet says, with the strengthening of our body and mind, we can survive amongst the hardships of life. Thus, in these lines, the poet gives us a very important lesson that we should make ourselves strong both physically and mentally, and in this way we can survive amongst the hardships and challenges of life. Students, what does he stand for? He stands for the wind. He won't do what you tell him. What does it mean? It means that the wind does not follow our commands. Students, see the next lines. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Here, roar means to make a loud, deep sound. Flourish means grow. Students, what does this stand for? This stands for the strengthening of buildings, bodies, and human hearts. In these lines, the poet says that with the strengthening of body and mind, we can make the destructive forces our friends. And he says that the wind puts off the weak fires, but it makes the strong fires more strong. In the same way, the difficulties and problems of life weaken and destroy the people who are not physically fit and mentally tough. But the people who are strong, they flourish and grow to become more strong. The poet says that friendship with the problems is good because they give us the opportunities to become strong, to face them. So we should praise them instead of losing hearts. What is the impact of the wind on weak fires and strong fires? The wind blows out the weak fires but makes the strong fires loud and flourish. Students, here are the appreciation questions. Why does the poet plead with the wind to blow softly? When the wind blows softly, it is harmless and enjoyable, but when it blows fiercely, it creates havoc, means destruction. Therefore, the poet wants the wind to be gentle and soft. How does the wind make fun of the weaklings? The strong wind uses its destructive power to harm weak person and delicate things. It crushes weak houses, doors, and even human lives and hearts. By moving violently and destroying the weak, it seems to make fun of their helplessness. What does the poet mean by the phrase, "the wind God winnows"? The poet says that wind God winnows. That means wind shifts all the people, and those who are weak get crushed and fall down. What does the wind symbolize in the poem? In this poem, the wind symbolizes difficulties and challenges of life. Why does the poet remark that the friendship of wind is good? The friendship of wind, that means difficulties and adversities, is good because it makes us strong both physically and mentally. Whom does the poet praise and why? The poet guides us to praise the wind every day. This is because the wind is like a good friend who makes us strong to fight. Students, here are the poetic devices the poet has used in the poem. Poetic devices are the techniques the poet uses to make the poem more beautiful and impactful. Now, we will discuss these poetic devices. The first device we have found in this poem is anapher. Students, when a word is repeated at the start of 2 or more consecutive lines, this device is anapher. In these lines, here you see that the line number 2, 3 and 4 in the poem start with don't, and line number 6, 7 and 8 in the poem start with you. So, here the anapher device is used. Students, the next device we have found in this poem is personification. Personification means when the poet associates human qualities with some abstract idea, a natural phenomena or some inanimate objects. Here in this poem, we see that the poet addressed the wind as if it were a person. See these lines, you tore the pages of the books. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Students, in these lines, the pronoun you refers to the wind. Symbolism. Symbolism means when a thing refers to some other thing. In this poem, the poet has used wind as a symbol for the problems in our life. It refers to the challenges in life. Alliteration. The next device is alliteration, which means repetition of consonant sounds. Students, in the lines, the wind God we knows, the wind will be friends with us. Here we see that the consonant sound V is repeated in these lines. Rhyming scheme. Students, there is no rhyming scheme in this poem. It is written in free verse. Free verse means when there is no rhyming scheme or any musical pattern in the poem, it follows the rhythm of a natural speech. Students, let's sum up the main idea of the poem. The poet has described the power of wind on nature and human life. The wind can easily break window panes when it blows strongly. The books from shelf fall down and wind tears apart the pages. It seems like wind enjoys its power and laughs at weaker things. Doors, woods and even hearts are not safe from its strength. But the poet realizes that wind is a natural phenomena. We should make ourselves strong so that we can save us from its destructive power. We should make ourselves strong so that we can face the wind. Thus, we can also survive through the hardships of life. Students, here are the keywords. These keywords will help us to recall the poem. Let's recall the lines where these words have appeared. Softly. Wind come softly. Shutters. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Scatter. Don't scatter the papers. Clever. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Crumbling. Crumbling word is repeated many times in the poem to lay stress that the wind crushes everything, like crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Firm. Practice to firm the body. Flourish. He makes the strong fires roar and flourish. Winnows. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. here is the recapitulation work. Complete the lines. These are the lines from the poem. We will complete these lines. Let's do it. Wind come softly. Yes, students, wind come softly. Don't break the shutters. Yes. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the, what will come here? Don't scatter the papers. See the next line. Don't throw down the, what will come here in this blank space? Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the, what will come here? Of the books. The poet accuses wind of bringing what? You brought rain again. Thus, students, this is the recapitulation work. Now, students, I will do the recitation of this poem once again. Wind come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind God we knows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So, come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Students, this is the poem Wind. Now, here is the homework for you to do at home. Note down this. Learn 4 lines of the poem Wind. Write down the central idea of the poem. Students, I hope all of you have enjoyed this poem and understood the main idea contained in the poem. Thank you.